Welcome to the Beer Search Party. I am your host, Sean Inman, and today we are doing 13th Century Grut beer. Not to be confused with root beer. It's Grut beer, otherwise known as Gruit sometimes, with an I in between. Gruit beer is a type of beer that was more prevalent before the Reinheitsgebot and more prevalent before hops were widely found. And that is why it is done in this instance with bay leaves, caraway, rosemary, anise, and other assorted spices. Basically, it was done this way so to preserve it for a little bit longer before they found out that hops was the big preservative. Now, the reason why I picked up this particular brand, which is also done by a couple of breweries up in Oregon, Roots Organic, Upright Brewing does it as well. And it's catching on in some other spots as well, notably in Europe. But it's done by the same people that make this lovely 1809 Berliner Weiss, the Dr. Fritz Bream Berliner Weiss, 1809. Now what they're doing at this brewery is trying to reconstruct some old styles of beer. Gruit being one of them that has fallen out of favor now that hops have been introduced. And because I'd enjoyed the Berliner Weiss, I decided to give this Gruit beer a try. And also because I'd had it a couple times in Oregon and thought it was interesting. Definitely a lot more spicing involved with these. So it makes it for not a bland beer, usually always very hitting you with different senses. So let's take a pour of the Dr. Fritz Bream Gruit beer as I spill it. Oh dear Lord. And it goes to the angels. Now when I initially opened it up, this one is really carbonated and fizzy. Wanted to go over the top all the time. Now this one is a hazy yellow. A little bit orangish, not quite though. Very interesting looking as I move the other beer away. Oh yeah, you can smell the spices off of this. I picked up a peppery sort of smell, and it's still popping and fizzing a little bit too. That is very refreshing. It's almost iced tea-ish, as if you'd had a spicy iced tea, or maybe an iced tea mixed with maybe a rosemary lemonade iced tea. If you can imagine such a mixture. You've had the lemonade iced teas with that mixture, and this has got that same sort of thing, but with an overarching spice to it. Now, like I said, this one's got bay leaves, ginger, caraway, anise, rosemary, and something called gentian. I'm definitely getting the ginger. That's first and foremost. A little bit of the rosemary. The anise and the bay leaves seem to be struggling there, and I haven't had enough caraway to be able to tell what caraway tastes like right off the bat or smells like right off the bat, especially not in a beer. But very gingery, but it's also got those other more savory spices on the back end. That's very interesting. It's only 4.6% alcohol, so it's not going to drive you drunk real quick, that's for sure. But this is a very interesting one. I don't quite know what I would pair this with, because it is so gingery. You might be able to say certain chicken dishes, Chinese food, maybe sushi it might go well with. Yeah, there's a couple on the Asian side of dishes that I would say would probably be best with this. I think Indian food would probably overpower this, but something gentler on the Chinese or Japanese scale, maybe even Korean, if you left out the kimchi, would make this really good. But definitely, if you can find something, and this is a trend that's starting to take a little bit more, but definitely try out Gruit beers. They're very interesting. Without the hops, it certainly gives you a different flavor palette to play with, and you don't have that bitterness which is such an overarching thing in a lot of other beers. So this is a good historical beer to try to round out your knowledge of beers as well. So give it a try. Look out for it. It's either G-R-U-T or G-R-U-I-T, but it's definitely done interestingly well by Dr. Fritz Brehm and his people in Munich, Germany. Alright, thank you for watching and have a great night. Cheers!